So you have decided to make the decision that you will never ever regret. You want to be a dungeon master. But the question is how to become a dungeon master or a games master. Well, I'm here to help you. I've GM'd or DM'd multiple games and campaigns throughout my gaming career, and I'm here to share all the things that I've learned over those years. Step 1, decide on the rules. Before you start creating or inviting your players to your game, you need to decide which rule set you will be using. Don't just grab the latest edition of Dungeons and Dragons and go with that. Stop for a while and consider the following. Is there a different rule set that you would like to use and explore? If you are a brand new or beginning dungeon master, do you want the players to know more rules than you do? Or do you want to start a campaign when both yourself and the players are exploring and developing an understanding of the rules together? Recently, I wanted to start DMing something completely new right from the beginning. I didn't want the players to know more about the rules than I did. I wanted to develop the rules together as we all played and developed the campaign. The other thing that you might want to consider is whether or not the rule set can be easily adapted to different campaign settings. Could the rules be changed or adapted to include a sci-fi or a fantasy setting or even a horror? When I started to play my current campaigns, I wanted to choose a rule set that we could play in different genres, but enjoy different campaigns, but not have to learn new rules. Because of this, I chose the Mithras rule set. But there are others out there just waiting for a budding great dungeon master like you. So have a think, don't rush into anything, because once you've started your campaign, you need to stick to one rule set. Step 2, decide on the campaign world. The campaign world is where you and your players will be adventuring, so it is important to make a simple decision about this. Will you want to create your own campaign world or adventure in a purchased one, say for example like Forgotten Realms or Dragonlance? There are positives and negatives of each, so really take your time to have a think. With your own, you will spend a lot of time creating it and fleshing it out with all aspects of the world, from towns, cities and villages to physical terrains, religion and the magical orders. I really enjoy doing this. I love world building and I can spend lots of hours thinking about new ideas and writing them down and sharing them with my players. I tend not to use purchased campaign worlds, but with a purchased campaign world, everything is there for you, although it might cost you. And remember, some of the players might know a lot about that campaign world and know more about the lore than you. By the way, in a future video, I'm going to be telling you how you can start DMing your campaign without having to design absolutely everything. So make sure you subscribe and catch that video when it goes live. If you are in any doubt about which campaign world to go for, I would go with your own. You can always use some ideas from a purchase campaign if you need to. Step 3, defining your style. This is probably the hardest part about starting out. So have a good think about this and make some notes over a space of a couple of weeks. So what do I mean about defining your style? Well, I mean, what kind of campaign will you become the dungeon master of? Is your focus going to be on combat and battles, or are you more interested in political intrigue? Will your adventures be more of the murder mystery type with lots of investigations and social skills, or will you focus more on dungeon crawls, battles after battles, and the search for magical items and treasure? Although you might not think this at the moment, this is probably the most important decision you are going to make. Perhaps I should have put it at step 1. Players will need to know the style of your campaign before joining and continuing to adventure in your world. The best way to clarify your thoughts over your style is to write a short paragraph advertising your campaign as if a player asked you about it and you were sharing. For me, my campaign world would be adventure in a world when the narrative we create is the most important aspect of the world. You will be involved in discussions and social interactions, fighting foes when needed, and possibly going on to save the world. The campaign is high fantasy with no magical items, where personality is greater than power and your skills are more important than gold. Have a go at writing your own before sharing it with your players. With all 3 steps completed, you are ready for step 4 to 7. In the meantime, why not check out my series of GM DM top tips by watching this video next.